just had off in the harvest room right now, talking about local issues and solutions. And that is exactly what we feel, the burn, if you will, when he explains how we should be able to attend college and improve the environment and close the income inequality gaps by changing the old paradigms. You see, the notion of big ag, of big oil, of big finance, and big corporations controlling the global economy doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to remain the reality. It will take leaders like Bernie to make that change happen. Senator Sanders' approach reminds me of a joke that Caesar used to share with us and the farm workers in order to make a point about never giving up, about being innovative, and about using the power of people to force the negotiations, to force these people to come to the table and change the status quo. And it applies to Senator Sanders' campaign now more than ever. It's about some people who owned an elephant, no pun intended, that wanted to make money off of people. So they decided to charge people to see who can move the elephant. And if they could, they would make $5,000. So they put up a big tent and advertised all over the land. And lo and behold, thousands of people paid money, take their turn, try to move the elephant. All day long, people were pulling and everything they could, and no one succeeded. Pushing, pulling, tugging, to no avail. At the end, the last person was a little old man, right before it closed. He walked up to the elephant, looked him straight in the eyeball, and went around the back of the elephant and kicked him in a very sensitive place. And it's just for family people, I'll tell you. And corrió el pinche elefante. The elephant took off running, and the little old man collected his money. So the next day, the guy says, dang, we gotta change this up. So they moved to another city. Same thing. People showed up again, paid their money, took their turn, pushing, pulling, tugging, all to no avail. Right about closing time, up walks the little old man. Goes up to the elephant, takes a long look at his mug, and says, walks around his back, and kicks him again, the same very sensitive place. Y corrió el elefante otra vez. Little old man collected his money. So the elephant owners had to reconvene for a better plan. They decided, let's move to a third town, charge $20, and this time we'll offer $50,000 to anybody who can get the elephant to nod his head up and down and move his head. Stares him straight in the eyeball. And he asks the elephant, straight in the eyeball. And he asks the elephant, do you remember me? The elephant nods his head. And then he says, do you want me to kick you in the same place again? And the elephant shook his head left and right. The old man got his money. And of course, this is the story Caesar used to make the point with the workers that we only lose if we give up to the big money. We need to build our power through organized actions, not just activities, and that we negotiate from strength of the workers and the students and our supporters. And this is why we need to send Bernie Sanders to the convention and to Washington, D.C. with a win in California. So he can look them straight in the eye and ask, do you remember me? And they will nod yes. Brothers and sisters, join me in welcoming our friend to Kern County, Senator Bernie Sanders. Thank you, Bakersfield. Let me thank Metro Buru, Virginia Ramos Rios, Rob England, and David Villarino. Thank you all very much. And let me congratulate the Farm Worker Institute of Education and Leadership founded by Cesar Chavez for all of the fantastic work that they are doing. But mostly I want to thank the many thousands of people who are here tonight. You understand that it is too late in this country today for establishment politics and established economics. We need real change. We need to tell the large and powerful and greedy corporations they are not going to get it all. We need to create a government that works for all Americans, not just the 1%. And I want to thank David and the other folks who I met with just before we came up here, who were talking to me about farm worker issues, were talking to me about pesticide issues, water issues, healthcare issues, housing issues, police issues. But
Yeah, Bernie broke the net. We broke the net. We do this often, you know.
much too low. We began this campaign over the idea we would talk about radical mold.
Well, this is just not a good night for technology, is it? We've got no stream anywhere. Thank you for being patient. Take a look at some of the memes. And sounds like Allison isn't feeling too good. One of our comment mods, and she's going to take off, so we're a little light-handed there. Bad Wolf's going to take care of them all. Thank you, Bad. Hope Allison feels better. We are waiting for one of the many streams we're looking at to come in. If you guys know of a better one or find something, drop it to us. Let us know. We'll cut right to it. Oh, here we go. We got a picture.
When the people of this country have a president who's going to fight for them, workers are not going to be working the fields for station wages, that I assure you.
is the water with impunity. And every American will have access to health care as a right. Now, this campaign is not just about electing a president, it is about transforming a nation. It is about asking everybody here to think big, not small. You know, if you take half a loaf, all you're going to end up is with crumbs. It's time for us to demand it all and create the country we know we can become. Now, throughout so far, in a campaign that the experts said would go nowhere, we have up to today won primaries in 20 states in this country. And with your help on June 7th, we are going to win here in California. And if we win big here in California, and if we win the other 5 states that are up on June 7th, and I think we have a shot to do that, we are going to go into the Democratic Convention with momentum. We're going to go in with momentum, going to come out with the Democratic nomination. And let me tell you something else. Every poll that has been published in the last 2 months in California the other day has us beating Donald Trump and beating him by big numbers. Not only
their lives with me. That we have people out
become president because the American people, will not support a candidate who insults Mexicans and Latinos, who insults Muslims, who insults women and veterans, and who insults African Americans. The American people understand that the greatest strength we have as a nation is our diversity. That we come from all over the world. We come from Europe, from Asia, from Latin America, from Africa. We come from all over, and that is what makes us a great nation. And we will not allow Donald Trump or anyone else to divide us up. Because we know, yes, they got the money, they got the power, but we know that when we stand together as one people, black and white and Latino, Native American, Asian American, when we stand together, there is nothing we cannot accomplish. And I'll tell you, as I look out at this vast audience, I see a lot of young people. And that makes me very, very proud, and I'll tell you why. When we began this campaign, the assumption is that young people, they're not interested in government, they're not interested in politics. They're too busy with their video games or whatever it is. But you know what has happened in the last year? Young people have stood up and they have said, we are the future of this country. And we damn well will help shape that future. And what has been really extraordinary is that in primary after primary and caucus after caucus, our campaign has won the overwhelming number of votes cast by young people. And what that tells me, and it is a profound lesson that every American should hear and the Democratic leadership should hear, is that our vision, a vision of social justice, economic justice, racial justice, environmental justice, that vision is the future of America. And if we stand together, there is no stopping us in implementing that vision. Now, this campaign is doing well. This campaign is going to win because we are doing something very unusual in contemporary American politics. We are telling the truth. And here is the truth. The truth is that today we are living under a corrupt campaign finance system. Democracy is not a complicated idea. It means that you have a vote, and you have a vote, and you have a vote. It means one person, one vote. If you're rich, you get a vote. If you're poor, you get a vote. If you're middle class, you get a vote. One person, one vote. But today, as a result of this disastrous Supreme Court decision on Citizens United, what we saw was the Supreme Court say to the billionaire class and to corporations, okay, guys, you already own much of the country. Now we will allow you to buy the United States government. And right now, we've got billionaires spending hundreds of millions of dollars trying to buy elections and elect candidates who will represent the wealthy and the powerful. We together are going to overturn Citizens United, and we're going to move toward public funding of elections. Billionaires and corporations and super PACs will not, under my administration, be able to buy elections. And we are also going to end Republican governors' attempts to suppress the votes. Democracy means that we want more people to participate in the political process. We want to open the doors to democracy, not close the doors and make it harder for people to participate. And I say to all of those Republican governors who are trying to make it hard for poor people or people of color or young people or old people to vote, I say to those governors, if you are afraid of a fair and free and open election, get out of politics, get another job. And I say to Donald Trump, you're a big, macho guy. If you have any guts, come on down and let's debate the issue. You know, the other day, Trump said yes, he would debate, and then he changed his mind and he said no, he wouldn't debate, and then he changed his mind again and said yeah, he would debate, then he changed his mind again and said he wouldn't debate. So I say to Mr. Trump, change your mind again, let us have a debate. This campaign is not only about a corrupt campaign finance system, it is about a rigged economy. Here's what a rigged economy is about. A rigged economy is about a nation today, our country, which has more income and wealth inequality than at any time since 1928. It is about a nation today where the top 1/10 of 1%, got that? Not 1%, 1/10 of 1% now owns almost as much wealth as the bottom 90%. It is about an economy where the wealthiest 20 people own more wealth than the bottom half of America, 150 million people. It is about an economy where one family, the Walton family of Walmart, owns more wealth. Imagine this. One family owns more wealth than the bottom 42% of the American people. And by the way, anybody here work at a Walmart? Okay, we got some. Walmart. Just the board of directors, Walmart today pays wages that are so low that many of its workers are forced to go on food stamps and Medicaid. Who do you think pays in higher taxes for those food stamps and Medicaid? You do. So here you have the absurd situation, which is the essence of what a rigged economy is about. You got the richest family in the country being subsidized by working families who are helping to keep their workers alive. I say to the Walton family that the middle class of this country should not have to subsidize the wealthiest family of this country. And I say to the Walton family, you know what? Get off of welfare. Stop being dependent upon the taxpayers to run your business. Pay your workers a living wage. But a rigged economy is not just grotesque levels of wealth inequality. It is corporation after corporation that pays its CEOs tens of millions of dollars in compensation, and then they go about cutting back on the wages and pensions and health benefits of their workers. It is about large, profitable corporations who shut down in this country, throw their workers out on the street, and go running to China and other low-wage countries. It is about families in America, in California and in Vermont, who are not working one job, but people are working 2 jobs and 3 jobs just to bring in enough income and health care to take care of their families. Is that right? It is about people in our country working 50, 60, 70 hours a week to bring in the income that they need. You know, funny thing, 100 years ago, workers fought for a 40-hour work week. We still have not achieved that goal today. We are going to create an economy that works for all of us, not just the 1%. What does that mean? What it means is that in America, people who work 40 or 50 hours a week should not live in poverty. We're going to raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour. It means that women should not be making 79 cents on the dollar compared to men. We're going to fight for pay equity for women. It means that at a time when real unemployment in this country is close to 10%, and in many communities the unemployment rate is much higher than that, we are going to develop a massive federal jobs program to put our people back to work. We should be hiring teachers, not firing teachers. We should be hiring hundreds of thousands of well-paid, well-trained teachers to make us have the best child care system in the world. And you know what? All over this country and in this community, people are having problems with clean water. We're having problems with our wastewater plants, with our roads, with our bridges, with our airports. We used to have the best rail system in the world. No longer the case. We are going to invest significantly in rebuilding our crumbling infrastructure. And when we do that, we make America stronger, safer, more efficient, and we create 13 million good-paying jobs. And what this campaign is about is telling the wealthiest people and the largest corporations, yes, they are going to have to start paying their fair share of taxes. Not acceptable to me that we have large multinational corporations who in a given year make billions in profit, stash their profits in the Cayman Islands and in other tax havens, and don't pay a nickel in federal taxes. That is going to end. But this campaign is not just about ending a corrupt campaign finance system and reinvigorating democracy. It is not just about ending a rigged criminal justice system. It is also about dealing with a broken criminal justice system. Every American should be deeply ashamed that in this country, the wealthiest country in the history of the world, we have more people in jail than any other country on earth. And the people in jail are largely and disproportionately African American, Latino, and Native American. Together, we are going to end that embarrassment. There are communities all across this country, in urban areas and in rural areas, where young people, high school graduates, are seeing unemployment rates of 30, 40, 50%. Kids cannot find jobs. And when kids are not in school and they don't have any jobs, bad things happen. Together, we are going to invest in our young people. Not in jails and incarceration. I want our young people to be working and making a living. I want them to be in school. I do not want to see them rotting in some prison cell. But when we look at the broken criminal justice system, it is important for us also to look at local police departments all across this country. Now, I was a mayor of Burlington, Vermont for 8 years, and I worked very closely with my local police department, and I've worked with police departments and officers all over this country. The vast majority of police officers are honest, hardworking, and have a very difficult job. It is not easy being a cop today, but like any other public official, when a police officer breaks the law, that officer must be held accountable. We must demilitarize local police departments. Good police departments, and there are many in this country, are departments that are part of the community where people feel comfortable with their police officers, rely on their police officers, trust their police officers. A bad police department is one that looks like an occupying force and intimidates its residents. So we are going to demilitarize police departments and make those departments trusted parts of the community. We are going to make police departments reflect the diversity of the communities they serve. We are going to end corporate ownership of prisons and detention centers. We are going to create a national law enforcement culture which understands that the use of lethal force, shooting someone, is a last response, not a first response. We are going to take a hard look at the so-called war on drugs. Over the last 30 years, millions of Americans have received police records for possession of marijuana. And if you have a police record, and if you are 19 years of age, and you go out looking for a job, and your employer asks you about whether you have a police record, you might not get that job. A lot of lives have been ruined because of that police record. Right now, at the federal level in Washington, we have a Federal Controlled Substance Act, which lists marijuana as a Schedule I drug, the highest level. And what is crazy is that right next to it as a Schedule I drug is the killer drug heroin. Now, people can argue about the pluses and minuses of marijuana, but marijuana is not a killer drug like heroin. And that is why I have introduced legislation to take marijuana out of the Federal Controlled Substances Act. Whether or not marijuana is legalized is a decision of the states, not the federal government. 4 states, plus the District of Columbia, have voted to legalize marijuana. There is an item that is going to be on the ballot here in November. If I were a citizen of California, I would vote for that proposition. But when we talk about drugs, let's also be clear about one very important fact. And that is, right now, in my state of Vermont and all over this country, we have a serious crisis regarding an epidemic of opiate and heroin addiction. Millions of lives are being impacted by that addiction. It is a crisis that we must address. In my view, if we are going to address that crisis, we've got to be smart. And to be smart means, in my view, to understand that substance abuse and addiction are not criminal issues, they are health issues. Which means that we need a revolution in mental health treatment in this country. I get calls in my office, and I'm sure other senators do as well, from people who say, I am worried about my brother. I don't know what he's going to do to himself or maybe to somebody else, but we cannot find mental health treatment that we can afford. That is crazy. What we have got to do is understand that mental health is the same as health in general. And people who want to break their addiction, people who are dealing with mental health crises, suicidal tendencies, homicidal tendencies, they need mental health treatment today, not 6 months from now. This campaign is proud to be listening to the American people and not just wealthy campaign contributors. And one of the major differences between Secretary Clinton and myself is I do not have and never will have a super PAC. I do not want Wall Street's money. I do not want the drug companies' money. And I'm very proud to tell you that we have received almost 8 million individual campaign contributions. Anyone know what the average contribution is? That's right. That's right. So we don't get money from Wall Street. We don't get money from billionaires. $27 a contribution. And many of those contributions come from lower income people and working people, and I am very deeply grateful and moved by their support. To paraphrase Abraham Lincoln at Gettysburg, this is a campaign of the people, by the people, and for the people. This campaign is listening to women. And women and men are telling me they are sick and tired of hearing about Republican family values. Everybody here knows what those family values are, and what they are is telling every woman here, every woman in America, that she does not have the right to control her own body. We disagree. And Republican family values are telling our gay brothers and sisters they do not have the right to marry. We disagree. My wife and I have been married 28 years. Right. That's right, today is our 28th anniversary. I propose, do you guys have any Friendlies here? Friendlies restaurants? No, that's the East Coast. Anyhow, I proposed to her in the parking lot of a restaurant. Best decision I ever made. And Jane and I believe in family values, just not Republican family values. And this is what we believe. We believe that it is an embarrassment that the United States is the only major country that does not guarantee paid family and medical leave. You know what that means? This is what it means. What goes on in America today is a woman today in California, a woman today in Vermont, is giving birth to a beautiful baby. But if that woman is low income or working class, she will in all likelihood be forced to separate herself from that beautiful baby because she has to go back to work to earn enough income to take care of her family. There is no other major country on earth that allows that to happen, and it should not be happening here in America. And that is why together we will pass legislation guaranteeing 3 months paid family and medical leave. This campaign is listening to Latinos. And the Latino community has told me and America very clearly that that this country cannot continue having 11 million undocumented people. We need comprehensive immigration reform. And we need a path toward citizenship. Today, here in California and all over this country, undocumented people are being exploited on the job because if you have no legal rights, you can't stand up when your boss cheats you or gives you wages that are lower than what you were promised. Together, not only will we pass comprehensive immigration reform, but we are going to end the current deportation policies. The function of our immigration policy should be to unite families, not to divide them. This campaign is also listening to the African American community. I have been to inner cities all over this country. I've been to Flint, Michigan. I've been to Detroit, Michigan. I have been to Baltimore, Maryland. And what I have seen is not what should be seen in America in the year 2016. Unemployment sky high, incarceration rates sky high, poverty sky high, schools inadequate, healthcare inadequate, housing unaffordable. And what the African American community is asking me, and it is a good question, how come we have trillions of dollars to spend on a war in Iraq we never should have gotten into? But somehow we don't have enough money to rebuild our inner cities. When we get to the White House, we are going to change national priorities. No more wars that we should not be fighting. No more tax breaks for billionaires. We're going to invest in inner cities and in rural communities that need our help. This campaign is also listening to a people whose pain is very rarely heard, and that is the Native American people. Everyone here knows that the first Americans were lied to, were cheated, and the treaties negotiated with them were broken from way back before this country even became a country. We owe the Native American people a debt of gratitude that we can never fully repay. They taught us a lesson that we cannot afford not to heed. And the lesson that they taught us is that as human beings, we are part of nature. We must live with nature. And if we continue to destroy nature, we are ultimately destroying the human species. I am a member of the U.S. Senate Committee on the Environment. And I have talked to scientists all over our country and all over the world. And what they tell us very clearly in an almost unanimous voice, climate change is real. Climate change is caused by human activity. And as you well know, here in California, climate change is already causing devastating problems here and around the world. And this is what the scientists also say. They say that if we do not get our act together and transform our energy system away from fossil fuel to energy efficiency and sustainable energy, not only here, but all over this globe, in China, in India, in Russia, if we don't do that, the problems we have today will only become much worse. And what that means, not to get you nervous, but what that means is more drought, more flooding, more extreme weather disturbances, more acidification of the ocean, more rising sea levels, more international conflict. And you know why? Because people will be fighting over limited natural resources. We have a moral responsibility to leave this planet in a way that is healthy and habitable for our kids. And we have got to have the courage, and I will help proudly lead that effort, to tell the fossil fuel industry that their short-term profits are not more important than the future of this planet. And by the way, when we talk about fossil fuels and when we talk about pollution, One of the looming crises facing our country and the world is whether or not we will have enough clean drinking water. This is a crisis that exists now. It will only get worse, which is why I believe we have got to end fracking. Now, that is not Secretary Clinton's point of view, and I urge her to change her mind. We cannot endanger our water supply. We have got to conserve our water and do everything that we can to make sure that homes have clean water. When we talk about human needs and where we want to go as a country, and when we talk about thinking outside of the box, we have got to ask ourselves a pretty simple question. How does it happen that we are the only major country on earth that does not guarantee health care to all people? So let me be very honest with you and tell you that in my view, health care is a right of all people, not a privilege. The Affordable Care Act did some good things, but not enough. Let me ask the people here, how many people here tonight have no health insurance? Raise your hand. Whoa, that's a lot of people. How many people are underinsured with high deductibles and high copayments? Okay. What you see with all of these hands is a failed healthcare system. Our job is to guarantee comprehensive healthcare to all of our people. Our job is also to tell the pharmaceutical industry they cannot continue to rip off the people of our country. That they cannot continue charging us the highest prices in the world for the medicine that we need. Millions of people in America, when they get sick, they cannot afford to buy the medicine they need. That is crazy. And what is equally crazy is that last year, the major 5 drug companies made $50 billion in profit. Brothers and sisters, all of you know that real change in America has never come from the top on down, always came from the bottom on up. Large corporations and the establishment never give you anything. You've got to fight to get what we need. Think about 100 years ago when workers in this country were working 7 days a week, 12 hours a day. They fought back and they told their employers, sorry, we are not animals, we're not beasts of burden, we want dignity on the job. We are going to form trade unions. And we thank the union movement for creating the American middle class. Think about 150 years ago amidst the abomination of slavery, where African Americans and their allies looked to the future, a great peril to their own lives. And they stood up and they fought and they said the day will come in this country when we will rid this nation of racism and segregation and bigotry. And we will never know how many of those heroes and heroines ended up dead or in jail or beaten. But they stood up and fought for justice because they knew that is the only way real change takes place. 100 years ago, not a long time, from an historical perspective, women in America did not have the right to vote, to get the jobs they wanted or the education they wanted 100 years ago. But women stood up and they fought back. And they said that in America, women will not be second-class citizens. If we were here 10 years ago, no time at all, somebody jumps up and says, Bernie, I think that by the year 2015, gay marriage will be legal in every state in America. The person next to her would have said 10 years ago, you're nuts. It can't happen. There's too much homophobia, too much bigotry in America. It can't happen. But the gay community and their straight allies stood up, fought back. And they said loudly and proudly that in America, people should have the right to love whoever they want, regardless of gender. If we were here 5 years ago, no time at all, somebody jumps up and says, Bernie, you know, this $7.25 federal minimum wage is a starvation wage. We got to raise it to $15 an hour. Jesus. Keeping you busy, huh? If somebody said that the minimum wage should go up to $15 an hour, the person next to him would have said, you're crazy. We can't go from 7.25 to 15. It's too much. You're too radical. You're thinking too big. But you know what happened? Workers in the fast food industry, in McDonald's, in Burger King, in Wendy's, they went out on strike. They stood up and they fought back and they told this country they cannot make it on $7.25 an hour. And then what happened in Seattle, Washington? City Council passed $15 an hour. In Los Angeles and San Francisco, $15 an hour. In California and New York State, $15 an hour. And if I'll have anything to say about it, and I will as president, $15 an hour in every state in this country. But here is my point. My point is that when people stand up and fight back, they can accomplish wonders. They can transform the world. Don't let the establishment convince you that real change cannot occur. Don't let them tell you that all we can do is incremental change. Right now, from California to Maine, people are looking around, and this is what they're seeing, and this is what they're asking. They're asking, how does it happen that ordinary people are working 2 or 3 jobs and almost all new income and wealth is going to the top 1%? How does it happen that for 30 years, the middle class of this country has been shrinking, shrinking, and shrinking at the same time as we see a proliferation of millionaires and billionaires? How does it happen that we have more childhood poverty than almost any major country on earth? Why is it that young people are leaving college $30,000, $50,000, $70,000 in debt? Or why is it that women are making 79 cents on the dollar? And by the way, in terms of college, as all of you know, we are going to make public colleges and universities tuition free. How many people here are dealing with student debt? Raise your hand. All right. What we're going to do is allow people with student debt to refinance their loans at the lowest interest rates they can find. You know, 40 years ago, 50 years ago, if you had a high school degree, that was great. You can get a good job. That is not the case today. The economy has changed, the world has changed, technology has changed. And we are going to make sure that every kid in California, in Vermont, and in America, regardless of his or her income, if that boy or girl studies hard, takes school seriously, that kid will be able to get a college education. But that is what this campaign is about. It is about thinking big, not small. Understanding that the establishment wants us to think that we're impotent. There's nothing that we can do. We have to accept current reality. We are not strong enough. They got all the power. What this campaign is about is bringing millions of people together, standing up, fighting back, and demanding a government that represents all of us, not just wealthy campaign contributors. This campaign is fighting for a political revolution, and you are the revolutionaries. On June 7th, there is going to be an extremely important Democratic primary here in California. 475 delegates are at stake. I believe that if there is a large voter turnout, if we work hard to bring out our friends and our families and our co-workers, not only will we win here in California, we will win big. And if we win big here in California, and as I believe we will do very well in the other 5 states that are up on that day, we will go into the Democratic Convention with enormous momentum. And I believe that we will come out with the nomination. And if we come out with the nomination, Donald Trump is toast. So we have found throughout this campaign that when voter turnout is high, we win. When voter turnout is low, we lose. So on June 7th, let us have the highest voter turnout in Democratic primary California history. And let the great state of California, one of the most progressive states in America, help lead this country into the political revolution. Thank you all.
Really want to thank Bernie Sanders Speeches and Events for bringing that to us tonight. That was Bernie Sanders in Bakersfield, California. I don't know how many of you have ever been to Bakersfield. I have. And I am glad to see that they are feeling the burn. Hi, everybody. It's a late night. And that's Bernie. Oh, my goodness. So we had some technical issues bouncing around, trying to find good signal, good sound. And we got out of Bernie Sanders Speeches and Events. I want to thank them so much for bringing that to us. And yeah, it's awesome. Looks like it's being carried on News Universe as well. They just wrapped up, which is good. How is everybody doing? More than 400 of you with us Oh man, that light's bright. Let's kill that. We don't want that on. There we go. Easy fix. See my chocolate milk? Got my chocolate milk in the background. That's the good stuff right there. That is the good stuff right there. Good chocolate milk. I drink fancy chocolate milk, everybody. I know it's crazy. So, tomorrow, newsroom, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern. And then we are going to do the later rally. I believe it's in Fresno. Let me just check really quick on my Chasing Bernie. And yeah, let's see. Tomorrow, hey, Paul. Yeah, I believe we're going to be in Fresno, and the reason is it's going to be the evening rally, whatever it is. It's going to be the evening rally. It's at night, and we're going to do a preview of the first part of Burn the movie. They completed it. It's up on Vimeo, and we're going to watch that together before the rally, and then we're going to talk with Jay, the director of the movie. Hopefully, we'll talk with Miriam, who is also, as I believe, the executive producer, talk to them about how they put this together. It's different than what you and I saw before. So if you remember Burn the movie, they've got the first piece done. It's about 24, 25 minutes, and it's awesome. So we're looking forward to doing that tomorrow. So newsroom in the morning, and then a rally in the evening. Phone bank, face bank, we have them on the run. We're winning. We've got the establishment freaking out. They don't know what to do. Hillary Clinton can't possibly be elected. She's about to be tossed in jail. And even if she isn't tossed in jail, she's not a viable candidate. She's falling in numbers to Trump. Trump can't be beat by Hillary Clinton in a national election, and that is really what the Democratic Party is looking at, the national election. Yeah. H.A. Goodman pointed out earlier today in an article, 22 top secret emails. Yeah. There's too many things. And we've got transcripts still to come, folks. More transcripts with more information about what Hillary did wrong. And the real important part is that she lied. So we've got them on the run. We're going to clear California. We're going to kick serious ass. It's going to make history. And yes, there will be election fraud. And there will be voter suppression because we've seen it everywhere we go. This is what the Democratic National Party does. This is what they do. They are not really a Democratic Party anymore, and we all know that. It's time to reform that party. We're going to do that together with Bernie Sanders. All right, we're going to go out with... and how are everybody? What do you... Ding dong, the witch is dead. Nice. We are winning. Yes, absolutely. Obama wouldn't. You know what? He won't let Hillary go to jail. But there is no way the DNC will let her. So they'll win the nom, right? They'll claim delegates, and all of the establishment media will go, yeah, Hillary won, even though we know that's bullshit. She's a lame duck at this point. And they're going to have to stick somebody in her place. They're going to have to kick Debbie Wasserman out of there, or else it's going to be a shitstorm inside the place, right? And they're probably going to bring in Joe or somebody else and try to convince the superdelegates need to go that direction. If they want to keep their jobs, if they want to be a part of the new government, they will choose Bernie and choose wisely. So we've got them. We've got them. We got this thing. It's a beautiful thing. I love it when a plan comes together. Who can tell me who that is? That's definitely from my era. Talk about a show that represented the complete concept of the military-industrial complex, right? America, fuck yeah, that was that show. Not that I'm knocking the show or anything as Hollywood, but I'm just saying it. Interesting. We're gonna listen to something that's really cool. You guys may have heard this earlier, but this is worth playing again. This is mellow. We're gonna run this while I let the rest of the comments fly through here. All right, looks like we got enough to cover through this song. I played this earlier for the newsroom. This is Bruce Murdoch. I don't want to try to get this guy on the show because this, you talk about, I saw somebody do a post, a comment and said, yeah, the A-Team, Hannibal, yeah. You got it. This is a song that he says, it's called Bernie, You're the Man. And he wrote this song in the 60s, for Eugene McCarthy, all right? He says, and I'll let the words play. He says, nothing much has changed since then. It's interesting. But Bruce, you and Bernie and so many others have waited a long time for this. And we're not going to let you down. This time we're going to take back the country for the people. And we're going to make it do what the people want. And we're going to bring the military-industrial complex and the establishment government to heel. And we're going to get rid of establishment media because it's time for the new muckrakers. And that would be places like us and TYT and free speech TV and Democracy Now! And RT News and just about every other place on the internet that's not connected to establishment media. It's time for the end of the corporate age. We are entering a new era, the age of the people. Feel the burn, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.
DNC media lied to us today. Need you with your honesty. No, we've been betrayed. The country needs a statesman. Without one, it can't stand. Country needs a president, and Bernie, your man. The government is being misused, treated war like chess. No one ever wins at war. Someone loses less. The people need a patriot who'll redesign the land. Country needs a president, and Bernie, your man. Your opponents offer promises that are empty like before. You wouldn't let our children die to perpetrate a war. Yes, you are the candidate our honor must demand. The country needs a president, and Bernie, your man. America's been burdened, and corruption is to blame. It owns the politicians, and democracy's in chains. The alternative is evident. It's in the voters' hands. The country needs a president, and Bernie, your man.
Huge